Okay, here we go. This is episode 66 of I Just Got My Kid to Sleep. If you can sense like maybe maybe I'm doing this for a second time. I didn't do the whole episode a second time, but I did begin again. Begin again because there was some audio, and I just wanted to not to not do a whole episode without having this crisp Yeti GX video game mic that's I'm using for podcasts. I don't even record video game stuff, but I went to a Best Buy and they told me that you're going to spend a lot on a podcast mic. So buy this one. And I feel like if you're listening to it, you're like, I don't know if there's a difference. But anyway, episode 66. Here's some things I covered that maybe an exclusive footage later. But in the first 2 minutes, it was only 2 minutes that you missed. But I'm going to cover it. Don't worry. I'm going to cover it. Listen. No one's perfect. And microphone is a person today. So I am not missing, but I am not watching the NBA Finals game right now to be here with you. It sounded more sincere the first time I said it. More like I'm here for you. Now it just sort of sounded like, oh, that's something I'm talking about because I'm really not. No, here's what you can do. Here's what I realized. You can watch it recorded, which I'm doing. And I say that as if it's on live right now and I'm not able to watch it because I'm doing this, but it's actually been recorded already because my son does not go to bed when sports are on, like before sports are on. Eh, I I can't remember the last time I saw like a kickoff or a tip off or a first pitch with him fast asleep. And partially that's a West Coast thing because everything's on a little earlier if it's a national game. But also it's my not parent I guess it's a style, my parenting style of saying yes too much. No, like but it's also summertime, you know? So what's your summertime bedtime rule for kids? I think ideally you keep them on the same schedule. But what am I? A robot? Am I a perfect? I might be super. I'm not. I don't think I'm a super. I got a super dad trophy that he gave me, but I think that's just a bribe so he can stay up later. I wonder what I'm gonna get this year for Father's Day. Man, what could it be? Maybe a sign that he draws something on. That could be cool. I say that as if that's not beautiful. Everything is great. I don't know. This is a cool. I got a super. Here are some Father's Day gifts over here on the side. We'll get back to the other stuff. If you're not familiar with the podcast, this is it's usually pretty tight, but we're going to play it loose. This is one Father's Day gift, I believe. It says Dad. It's a wooden, you can hear it, wooden picture frame, and I am with my son in the A part of and then there's a lot of decoration going on. This is some of his early artwork. It's more postmodern scribbling, but you know, and the D is kind of broken because there's no reason to get into why that. But I keep the frame anyway, and he kind of colored over his own face. So he's kind of like, "You're my dad," but no one needs to know. That's more of his. Anyway, we went to where did we go? Zion National Park. Here's the interesting thing about national parks. So I had him on my chest. That's how little he was. He wasn't even one yet. I strapped him on and we went for a hike. And I feel like when you go to like a park, just like a normal park, it's like this is like recreation. And then you can go to a national park and they're like, this is how many people have died from this trail. And you're like, well, how is this a trail? Like this is the real thrill ride, you know? Like you go to like Six Flags bought all of them. But like Six Flags or like Six Flags that used to be a different one or like Six Flags that used to be a different one. Like they have roller coasters that like carry you and you go, or like Cedar Point, which is now owned by Six Flags or vice versa. I don't know. There was one where you like it shoots you up and then like, it's like a race car and like sometimes you don't make it up and you gotta come back to, and you're so high and then you go straight down and it's like, oh, that's such a thrill. But no, we went to Zion and like, well, there's this one trail, the Narrows, I believe it was. It's like such a narrow path. That's why they call it that. You can YouTube it. I think it's the Narrows. That might be the water one. There's one you can walk in. There's two at Zion. There's one that you can go in. This is the national park episode. This wasn't on the first version. This is all new stuff. So, there's one podcast. I got to make sure I don't touch this cord because I want it to be a tight audio. Episode 66. Content-wise, who knows? But audio, it's going to be crisp and clear and connected and tight. So, Zion National Park has, and this is a nighttime recording, by the way. I just got my kid to sleep. This is authentic. It is Tuesday, usually Monday. According, when I mention my podcast to people, I tell them I do it Monday, but yesterday was Monday, and he went to sleep. I fell asleep too. That's what happened. I fell asleep. And if I just got my kid to sleep and then I fall asleep, I don't feel like, you ever like get your kid to sleep and fall asleep too, and then be like, let's do a big thing now. That's not how I feel. I feel like I want to continue this sleep in bed. And then what I do is like, oh, I'm going to eat first. And then I get food. And then in the process of that, I'm like, oh, I could do this. And then I'm slowly but steadily winning the race of staying up until 3:30 in the morning and then taking a nap while he's at school. So, Zion National Park, we did the Emerald Ponds. I think that's what it was called. And there's a family friendly, not super family friendly. Like it's a hike, but it's family friendly. You could do it. Jack didn't walk at all. He was literally a weight on my chest. I did like wearing that thing though, the thing that you wear for the kid on your chest when they're a baby, because I feel like, and this is going to sound, I don't know how it's going to sound. I can't hear it through your ears right now. I haven't even heard it through my own yet. I've kind of thought it through, and I'm thinking of different ways to say it to make it appropriate for my livelihood to maintain or increase. So I think that when a woman gets pregnant, they get to carry the baby the whole time, And I'm not saying everybody does this, but some people I feel like let more than others. And that's fine because they have to do it. They don't have a choice, and it is a thing, and someone's got to do it, and they didn't get to choose it, and they have it, and it's heavy, and it's all the time, and the pain is real, I'm sure, and the back and the feet and everything. And some probably don't say it at all, and they seem really peaceful and happy, and some I think one lets you know, and that's fine. They can't because it's real. But I like the thing that I get to strap them on my chest because I'm doing that. Not that it's equal because I get to take them off, but I'm like, oh, I'm doing it. I do feel like I'm doing it, but it's not because I get to take him off. But he's bigger too, so is that equal? I just want it to be equal. I feel like then I'll have a leg to stand on. So, anyways, we did like the Emerald Ponds. It was really fun. It was like a 3 miles round trip or something. Maybe it was 3 each way, and we hiked. And we saw a huge spire. Anyways, we got to the ponds and like Jack wrote his name in the sand. I don't think he definitely didn't really do it, but we did it. We took his picture. But then they have other hikes at Zion, and there's one where you can go in the water. And my friend was telling me that if the water comes, then your chances of living decrease. And it's not like a fun water slide. It's like, this is over. Whew. But they try to only do the hikes when the water's not coming. So that's good. And then there's another hike, I think it's the Narrows, where there's just like a narrow, it should be the Narrows because it's a narrow piece of land to walk on. And they have a chain that you can sort of help pull yourself up. And the top, it's got to be a good view. It's either that or it's just like, woo, I'm not going back right now. And you can just see everything. And there's more space up there. But on the way, it gets very narrow. And the gate is narrow. That's from ESPN commercial Drew Brees. Sometimes the references are just not really universal. References in general are not universal. But like you get it. Oh, today's Wednesday, June 11th. I just cooked chicken. What? I just saw on my computer that it's Wednesday, June 11th now. And I just got my kid to sleep. He's been asleep for a little bit. But I just realized I cooked chicken that was Best By June 12th. Boom. Boom. What? Yeah. Doing it. Nailing it. Maybe I am a super dad. June 12th is when it's Best By, and I cooked it today. Do we got to eat it all by June 12th? I don't think so. I think he's got to cook it by that day. Wow. Whenever I buy a meat product and I get it cooked before the day that it's Best Buy, that feels good. But when I get it by a day, like I bought it last week and it said it was due tomorrow. I didn't even plan that. I don't think you can plan the kind of mastery of meal preparing as a father that I brought. Anyway, I try to just cook one thing this week. Sometimes I'm like, I'll cook this and this, but this week I'm just like, I made mac and cheese. Boom. Yeah. Eat this also. What did I also make? I guess I did steam some vegetables. Anyway, um, I made chicken. I didn't do chicken and mac and cheese. Chicken and mac and cheese, 2 different meals, 2 different days. Get out of here. You want chicken and mac and cheese at the same time? What are you, 12? No, you're 6. You might not eat any of those at all. So I'm not doing it. There's no reason for me to bob my head as much as I'm doing right now. But the narrows are narrow, and I've not done those. We were there, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll come back someday, without my family on my own when times are hard. No. And I was like, I don't think it's worth it anymore. It's like I'm not old. I'm pretty young. I'm going through like a midlife thing I've talked about where I bought like a retro TV to play old video games on. I was telling someone that recently. I was getting my hair cut. What do you think? And sometimes I feel like I complain when I get my hair cut because the person that cuts my hair um, doesn't really know me a lot, and they don't really know everyone in my life. So I feel like it's kind of like talking to like a priest. Like you can just kind of say stuff, and sometimes it's just like complaining. And I was like, I'll say something that I'm happy about. So I was like, I'm excited because I spent money on like a retro TV. It's clean, it's nice, it's not super old, and I'm gonna put it. I have a huge closet because I'm all alone. No, I have a huge closet just to myself. And so I was going to use the middle part and put the TV in there. So like when I want to play like a retro video game or watch a VHS, I just like slide it and it's like I'm in a whole new room. And as I was telling the person, I was like, that it doesn't sound as cool as it is in my head. And I realize as I'm saying it now, it still doesn't sound as cool. But I'm going to get like a cool like rug that's thick and like maybe like some cool like chair pillows. And I just feel so excited. Like I added a new room to my apartment. Um, and I can just, especially when Jack gets a little older, if we're still living in the same place, there's headphones that I can plug and listen to old VHSs because that's all you're gonna want. And I went to a VHS store. It wasn't a VHS store. There's this place in Seattle, Washington, new favorite city. No offense to Tulsa and McKinney. I'm in Dallas on Friday and Saturday. They're gonna be great too. But Seattle, I went there and they have a store. It's called the Scarecrow, and it's right by the Comedy Club, Laughs Comedy Club, and they have an extensive library of DVDs and VHSs. Now, to someone who's listening to this on their phone or watching it on YouTube, that might not appeal to you. But if you were alive before 2000, over 25 years old, that's the math I did right off the top of my head. You might be interested in that because VHS, DVDs were how you got entertainment. Like I remember, I'm not just making this up. I remember when a VCR became a thing and we didn't have one. And then my dad at some point decided that we saved up enough money to have one. And we all went to the store. Can you imagine, like, as a family? Because it was, and I would do it too. It's like this costs enough money to where I want you to all watch it. So this is an event. I remember going to the store and buying our first VCR. My parents were really good about I was drinking water. That wasn't like a dramatic pause, but maybe it was both. So my parents were very good about like not having a bunch of stuff in the house that would not allow us to use our imaginations. Like we got a VCR, but we talked about this before. We didn't have a lot of VHSs. We just had, we could rent a movie, which is really fun. And that was really fun. That's something that went away that I wish I kind of liked. I remember every rental place in my town in Indiana, there was a video sideline and a videos unlimited. And for a small town, that's a lot of options. Video sideline used to be above the bowling alley, but they moved to have their own sort of building below a therapy center. I think it was physical therapy. and I mean, it was above the therapy center, and they had brown boxes for all their videos, and Video Unlimited was just like crazy. Later on, there was a family video, which I think those might still be around. Um, which family video I found out later meant that there wasn't going to be like adult videos there, and that's all I'll go into that because I've never partaken in adult video renting, but I guess that's what people would go to video stores for. Anyway, so it's so fun. Like going to the video store was already an exciting thing. And then one observation I made as a grown kid when we still had like DVDs and stuff was I was probably like in my late teens, early 20s, we'll say. And we were renting movies to watch with my parents. I love watching movies with my family. I love putting it on. Everyone's in the same room, because it happened for the first, I don't know, 14 years of my life. We were all together all the time. And then all of a sudden, people start going to college, and it's like no one calls anymore. It's like, what are we doing? People call, but so I look around and I watch everybody watch it. And I'm like, this is special. I'm that kind of person in the family. I like when something is everyone together. I can't just enjoy it. I gotta look around and be like, we're all here, and I'm sure everybody's doing that. They just don't let me catch them. Like I don't even watch the movie. I'm just like, whoa, we're all here again. And I wonder if my son will do that with me someday. I hope I'm around enough where he doesn't have to, but where he's like, Dad's here. We spend so much time together. So, yeah. So as an adult, you go to pick. It's your job to pick out the movie, and like you're in high school or college, home for whatever, and you're all going to watch a movie together. And that's a varying age. There's a variety of movies that you guys could like. And my brothers, I don't think my older brother didn't care. Like if he was renting a movie, like one time he rented He Got Game. Luckily I wasn't home, but my parents and him, and maybe my younger brother watched He Got Game. And there's some scenes in that movie. And I think either my dad or my brother, I think Patrick, my brother, said later, he's like, that's kind of a movie you just watch with your friends, which is a nice way to say there's some lewdness. And because not that like movies shouldn't have that or should have that. That's not what this podcast is about. This isn't trying to get rid of scenes in movies. There's a website that tried to do it and they got sued. And I think I always wanted to be able to watch something with everybody, which is why when I do stand up, I don't swear, because I know it's not for everybody anyway. Like kids aren't necessarily going to watch my stand up and be like, he's the funniest guy. Why is he making fun of driving a car down the road and not hitting a deer? I don't know. Maybe they think that was funny. That's one of my new bits. That's a description of it. So don't not come to a show, Tulsa, because anyway. Could you name your kid Tulsa? You can name your kid whatever. There's a kid, I shouldn't share this, but in one of my child's exercise classes, I say exercise because I want to be vague and I don't want to like give out information. And the child's name, I believe, is Coca-Cola. And I don't believe it. Like the first day of class, it's like a ninja class. So they got to say what they wanted to be called and maybe that is secret name or like their real name. And the kid said, I don't know what the kid said, but all I know is that there's a kid and they call her Cola or Coca-Cola. And if the parents are just got Coca-Cola to bed and they're watching this, I want you to know that is a beautiful name. And I am behind. That's what's wrong with me. The fact that I can't fully appreciate it is me. That's me. You picked a name of something that I love dearly. I didn't know I loved it as much as I did until I became a dad and was like, I need something to keep me awake because I don't drink coffee that much. And Coca-Cola is such a treat too because you get all that sugar. I've never really drank coffee a lot. Drinking? No, it's definitely not drinking coffee. But I feel like Coca-Cola, especially you get all that carbonation. There's a whole episode called Drink Coke about the benefits of Coke, a cola. Coca-Cola, You can call her Coke, Cokie. You're probably not gonna call her Cokie. Cokie. Hey, Cola. That's Cola's so pretty. I feel like there's an episode of Seinfeld where George Costanza wants to name his kid Seven, and I'm like, I think Coca Cola is better because you get a Coca, Coca. Hey, Coca. I love you, Coca. I shouldn't. But like, I want to like, because she's gonna grow up and be an adult. It's a girl. So like, do you take Coca Cola? Someone could marry Coca Cola. But if you're the parents listening, I think you're ahead of me. Anyway, I wonder if they're getting money for that. I don't know. I gotta find this out. Anyway, um, where was I? Exercise class. We've been some places. Videos. Previously I was talking about renting a movie for my parents. So my brother watched He Got Game with my parents for a little bit, and then they stopped it, which my parents don't really do a lot. I think when we were little, they were like, we'll walk out of this movie theater if it's not good. But we never did that once. Like we went to Ninja Turtles, and my parents, it was PG, which now everything's PG. Like we went to go see Cat Dog or whatever, Captain Dog Dog Guy, Dog Man, and whoever wrote it, no offense. Why is this an apology podcast now? No. And that was PG. Like everything, I don't think I've seen a G movie with my son. When I was a kid, there was a lot more G movies. Now it's like we're not responsible if you guys don't think this is G. Like when I was a kid, like Toy Story was a G, and they called people stupid. Like, but now it's like we think it's family, but I never saw a PG movie that I knew of until I was like 7. Bambi, they kill her mom. That's G. General audiences, it's an animal. People kill animals. Yeah, but they're not smiling and having relationships in an animated, cute way. So I haven't watched Bambi since I was a kid for that. I don't know for that reason. How come there's no Bambi ride at Disneyland? You're just enjoying all Bambi and all of a sudden, anyway, I go to the movie place to rent a movie. There was a place called Orland Video where we moved to Illinois, and there was a couple locations. And what I really wished, and this is something that's still applicable today, but more in like a streaming sense. But I really wish that there was a rating system for watching movies with your parents too. Because sometimes there's like a PG-13, R, and like your parents would be fine with it because it's just like language or like violence. I just want to know when there's gonna be nudity, so I don't rent it with my parents or ever, because who needs that anyway? But like, that was the whole point of that buildup. Was that now they kind of list what it is. They've always listed a little bit what it is, but when I was younger, they didn't list what it is. It was R, and it could be because they throw a lot of F bombs or something or whatever, or it could be because there's people having sex a lot. This is a family friendly podcast, but that's just what movies have sometimes. Which is strange. I get if you're writing a screenplay or a movie and you're like, this is the story, or like if you're trying to make money off a screenplay or movie and you're like, seeing this person do this thing would make more money. But now it's like, what's really important for the story? You just had to guess. I remember being like so stuck, like, because here's the thing: if you rented the movie, like now, I guess if you're streaming, everyone kind of can be there to choose. I'm moving because I don't want to bump my sound again, but I really stretching that knee out. So now everyone sort of has a voice. Like if we're picking a streaming one, it's like, hey, this is what it is. I didn't come up with it. It popped up. Is everybody okay with this? Which, by the way, The Wolves on Apple TV. I think that's an R-rated movie. That's kind of okay for parents. That's what this should be about. I don't remember specifically. The beginning's a little bit. I remember being like the beginning's a little bit, but like if you get past the beginning, it's like a good starting pitcher. You might get knocked out early, but once you're in it, you're going to be good. These references are not for everybody. In baseball, sometimes like Clayton Kershaw is a really good pitcher, but there's like a stereotype of like if you get to him early is when you get to him, because once he gets going, he's just got Uncle Momo. That's momentum. Anyway, but you're streaming, everyone gets a choice. Everyone's sort of like, that we're going to watch this. But like when you went to the video store by yourself to rent a movie for everybody and then you bring back something and there's things in it, it's just like, what are you showing me? I didn't get to watch it all first. I remember one time I rented Punch Drunk Love because I really liked Adam Sandler. And my brother was like, oh, this is one of those artsy art movies. It's not for everybody. And in my head, I'm like, he got game. Anyway, so I got a VHS and I went to the Scarecrow in Seattle. If there's more stores out there, put them in the comments or, direct message me. That way we're not judging whether there's comments or not. Because I don't think the audio has a way to message me, but it's at Michael Palsack or at michaelpalsack.com, michael.palsack@gmail. I just said my email. But it's out there. It's on Instagram. So I could just Google it too. But I could ask Chappie. There's so many ways I could find this out. There's no reason unless you want to reach out. But the Scarecrow in Seattle, their video collection is insane. I've never been in a store so full, so beautiful, so like I've never considered moving to a town more because of their video collection near the comedy club. Like, here's the thing. Part of it is that it's a rare thing now. So if you're going to do it, you got to do it. It's a nonprofit also. DVDs are also slimmer, so you can fit a lot more. They have some for sale up front, which I bought those. I couldn't believe they were for sale. Listen to this, everybody. Listen to this take home, okay? If you're into taking home stuff that's used, this might be the part of the episode for you. So remind you, I just got my kids. I have a child, and the main goal of this setup is so like he can experience what I thought it was like to watch VHSs. Because I saw it on Instagram and it looked charming, so I invested hundreds of dollars in an old TV. I know it wasn't more than a flat screen TV, but it was like I could have gotten this way cheaper in 2000. But people don't have them in good condition that they're just giving it away. One lady, I'd never been on Facebook Marketplace before, and one lady had one listed, and it was bigger than the one that I got, but it looked a little bit dusty, a little bit in their garage for a while. And it also didn't have a DVD player, which I didn't really need. But I was messaging her and I was like, hey, does the VCR player work? If people don't know what VHSs are, those are tapes. It's what we listened to before DVDs or watched and listened to but VHS is like the video version. And I was like, I want to buy this. I'd never been on Facebook Marketplace. I don't know the terms. I don't know the agreements. Someone told me it's like the Wild West. A good friend told me it's like the Wild West after hearing the story. So I was like, hey, I want to buy this, and she might be listening because my name's on Facebook, which, by the way, I respect you. I'll buy something else from you later. But if it's in my needs, I was like, does the VCR work? And she was like, I don't know. I don't have a tape. I'll borrow one and find one out tomorrow. So I'm like, okay. And then she messaged me that it's work. So I was like, okay, I'll buy it. And then she's like, someone already wants to buy it. You're second in case they don't pick it up. And I was like, I thought I said I wanted to buy it already. Like, she was the one that didn't know at the VCR. This is a TV VCR. But it was like a pretty good price. So then the next day comes and she's like, do you want to pick it up? And it was like after 8 o'clock. I'm like, and as you know, I fall asleep when my kid goes to sleep sometimes. So I didn't message her until I woke up from that. And I was like, hey, I just fell asleep during my kid going to sleep. Because I thought that's like very relatable, It's like, oh, he's where. And she's like, I'm a teacher. You can't pick it up until after 8 o'clock. And I was like, I think that this could be someone trying to, kill me. But I don't think it would. But I was just like, I'm going to get one I really know is not in a garage. So I got this one. Not that you can see it. But it's got a VCR. And, oh yeah, here's my haul from Scarecrow. These are the movies I bought. I should have them in front of me. Just imagine. Well, if you're audioing, you already have to. So, also I have a kid that's sharing this with. And I never got these movies. So, and as I was buying them, I was like, this is on Disney Plus. But maybe Disney Plus is a little strange, by the way, recently. Because I saw this. This is not to get off on a tangent forever. Stick with me if you want to hear them. Coming up soon. It's like the news. So I realized this because like Disney Plus and Hulu are connected. And now Hulu's just popping into my Disney Plus. And it's, I'm going to say strange at the least. At the very, because like Disney Plus is like Disney, Sure, it's got Star Wars, some more like, but like I think of Disney as like family friendly. So it's like, oh, I could watch Snow White or Alice in Wonderland. But then Hulu pops in and is like, you want to watch A Handmaid's Tale, and it's not the Disney version. It's End of Times, dystopian. I'm against that world, by the way. I don't think that's a good society. I shouldn't have to say that. But anyway, as I was buying these, I was like, these are kind of on Disney Plus, but I didn't spend a lot of money. I spent $24. And I liked the place. I wanted to keep it going. And I purchased not Snow White because I don't know why I didn't. Because I could have bought all the family movies. Maybe not all. I'm not gonna get crazy, but like a good percentage of them, like 80%. So there weren't a lot to buy. You could rent a lot. So I got my favorite Disney animated movie to date. Toy Story's up there too. Toy Story, but Robin Hood, Disney movie favorite. Okay, they bought that one probably like $4. Then I got Alice in Wonderland, favorite Disneyland animated movie ride. So that way I can like, my son's been on the ride, but he's never seen the movie. It's on Disney Plus anyway. Sword in the Stone, don't remember it. That'd be fun to watch. I need to clip my fingernails before I hold my fingers in front of the screen. It's three. That's three. And then I went to Looney Tunes. There's a Looney Tune movie from the Looney Tunes from the 70s featuring Bugs Bunny and the Roadrunner. And my son is really big fans of those right now. Boom, four. He may never watch it. I will. And then I bought this French cartoon movie about this cowboy, and it's all in French, which there's no promise of subtitles. So I might have to learn French for that one. But I don't think I do. Here's one of the reasons why I bought that. Because I bought this movie I saw this movie in theater in Omaha. I'm coming to Omaha in November or October, by the way. Check it out, Omaha Performing Arts Center in like a little smaller room. So that's exciting. There's tickets. They're not on my website yet, but they're out there. Um, in Omaha, there's this like independent movie theater, and I saw this French animated movie as called a town called Panic. And if you can find this movie and you have a similar sense of humor as as me, which is like a child who's grown up, you know, and here's what that means. My sense of humor when I watch movies like that is like very childlike, but I have an appreciation for it. So not only do I like it like a kid, I can appreciate how like funny it is as an adult too. So I think I'm kind of the perfect audience for those kind of movies. It's called A Town Called Panic. It's stop motion. I believe it's stop motion animation. It's not drawing. It's a stop motion. It's all in French, and it's about a cowboy. I gotta get it for my kid. I have it. My brother has it. Um, and it's about a cowboy and an Indian toy, which Native American for sure. But they're toys. I think it's politically correct. Still, right? Anyways, maybe it's not. But they have to buy a birthday present. They're toys. They're toys. And they're represented. Okay. Only 10% left. It's plugged in. How come it's not charging? Sometimes my phone, I think I got to get a new phone. I know you think it's a camera, but it's a phone. The thing doesn't charge all the time. And it's like, what are you doing? Um, anyway, if we die, we die. Rocky 4. If he dies, he dies. So this needs to come with like cliff notes. This is like a real good piece of literature, where that's about the cliff note without it being like literature. There's just a lot of references. I'm reading War and Peace right now, and there's a whole book, not book, but like a thick part for just being like, this is what he was talking about here, because we know you're not from the 1800s. Anyway, so this movie, A Town Called Panic, it's French. You're going to have to read, but you don't even notice. This is so funny. These two toys have to buy this other toy. I don't think they're actually toys. I think they're really supposed to be friends. And they have to buy a horse, their friend, a birthday present. And it goes through a magical journey. And I've never seen anything like it. And I should say it's my favorite movie. One of them. I watched it with my brother, younger brother, Brian, not the one who watched He Got Game with my parents. Don't watch He Got Game with your parents. I'm just pausing because I want to call the episode that now, I think. I don't know. How do you title these, right? This isn't your problem, listeners. You're here already. Thank you. I watched A Town Called Panic, I think by myself, then I watched it with my brother. And there's a character who gets so angry about after this in the second act, gets so angry at stuff. And we were laughing so hard. And I think it was because we both were thinking of my dad. And we didn't say it, but whenever someone gets really angry and we think it's funny, it's usually because of my dad. And it's not what like we were kids, parents I get upset, people get upset. And it's not funny in the moment, but when you see it represented in a stop motion animation by another character, you're like people that have tempers, like if you step away from it a little bit, like I think it's therefore funny. That's that's the reason they're in your life is to laugh at their pain. Now I gotta watch A Town Called Panic. Usually this podcast makes me hungry, but this one's like I gotta watch. Anyway, those are the movies I bought at the Scarecrow Video DVD. It's a nonprofit. You can support it online, and if you are in Seattle, like in I was already there, so then no reason to go back until I'm back. No. But shout out to some fans that came. That was so fun. There's some people that live in Seattle that came out to the show, and I feel very appreciated. The career's gonna keep going now because of I'm like sometimes I'll do weekend shows and I'm like riding my own wave of like that was fun. Then sometimes I feel like it's like Tinkerbell, and you got to get some applause to live, and that's what this weekend was for at least some of it. Um, but so every section of the store or of movie genre has its own section in the store, and it's just walls filled with DVDs, mostly DVDs, some VHSs, TV shows, movies. Like I feel like it's a dream. It feels like a dream. It doesn't feel real. Like I couldn't believe they sold these to me. It's like these are you should. And I told them I would rent, but I don't. I don't live here, and they understood. And I was at I bought the Disney movies, right? And they're they call them clamshells. And I don't think I'll call this episode Don't Watch He Got Game with Their Parents because I don't know if anybody will understand. Anyway, so I there's different kinds of Disney movies. There's ones that are like released in like in the early 90s and then some later or whatever. Some have like a black diamond on it, some have a different one. And I went up to the guy and I was like, "What's the difference?" Because they had both copies of like Alice in Wonderland or something. And I was like, which one should I get? What's the difference? And the guy looked at me. He was like, I don't know. Sometimes you go to a store like that and you expect everyone to be like an expert. That's why they work here. And then sometimes you go to a store like that and you're like, oh, this is a nonprofit. But anyways, other than that, tour yourself because that's the coolest store ever. I get that like that's all could be on your phone or on the internet and you could type it in, but there's something about physical media that I'm holding on to. And maybe it's just like you always have it. I don't like subscriptions. This isn't a complaining podcast. There are way bigger things to complain about in the world for sure. And a lot of respect and shout out to people going through those things. But, but, but I'm against subscriptions. No more. No more. Stop locking me in. Let me free. Because I just don't. Even if it's like $5, it's like now this is forever. I could cancel it. That's my goal. That's my 2028 goal, maybe. Don't want to get ahead of myself. But I want to like only have a subscription for when I'm actively watching a show and then cancel it. Or a movie. Like I'm gonna get it, $5. Can't cancel. Cancel. How many times can you cancel? Every single month. I'm only having one that I'm watching right now. But right now I'm working on The Simpsons, which is like 34 seasons. So I'm going to be in Disney for a while. Anyway, isn't it weird that Simpsons is a Disney Plus show? It's like I grew up with like, I don't know, the magic of Disney. And then it's like a show I wasn't even allowed to watch as a kid. Disney's just media. Nah, that's not fair. I love you. Thank you for entertaining everybody. Um, but anyway, national parks. National parks are hard because people It's could be scarier than a real theme park. That was an earlier part we were talking about. Watching shows, watching NBA finals. That's what I was gonna say. I think I brought that up. I'm not watching it right now because I'm talking to you guys because this is a value to me. Indiana Pacers are in it. I grew up in Indiana. I'm not necessarily a fan. I can't say because I was born in Cleveland and I have a lot of connections to Chicago, but I'm very happy that Indiana's in it. People give you a hard time when you root for like a couple different teams, but I'm just like, get over it, guys. What are you doing? Who cares? I'm not. They're not my fave, but anyway. So I'm gonna watch it after this. And if you record a show, um, a game, there's a good way to watch it after your kid goes to sleep because you can skip through the opening commentary. Oh, this whole game's 3.5 hours. No, now it's 3 hours and 15 minutes. Oh, is there a national anthem? I support, the national anthem, but you're not there. It's no one's. It's okay. I think it's okay. I'll Google it, but I skipped that. And then commercials. Go halftime report. Who cares what these guys say? They don't play anymore. And then by the time I don't even like free throws. That's something I discovered a couple years ago. That if you're watching a basketball game and you can skip, someone gets fouled, you can save 30 seconds. Skip free throw. Well, how exciting is here? Watch. How is this? Dribble, dribble. I'm gonna describe it for the podcast people. Then shoot. Did it go in? Yeah. Yay. Did it not go in? What? Like you can just guess. If it was up to me, I would eliminate free throws from the game. I think if I were doing it, I haven't thought this through, so I don't know if this is really how I would do it, which is most of this podcast. But I would make it like if the guy gets fouled really hard, he gets 2 points. If he gets fouled kind of hard, he gets 1 point. If he's fake fouled, the other team gets 2 points, and that could take a long time. Probably just easier to shoot. Some of these ideas are better if they never even were said, but you could really make it through a whole game and just fold laundry and then have time to watch a movie on your new TV. New old TV. The TV came in a huge box because I forgot how big tube TVs are. There's a hole back there. Like, that's something people talk about our life and how, things are worse and worse every day with everything. And I get how you can see that sometimes, but look at a flat screen TV, then look at a tube. Like there's a whole back of it that's just gone. It's just gone. That'd be like if you looked at a giraffe and you're like, this is a new giraffe, and it was just a two-legged one just running around. Like, yeah, we don't need the four ones. We're just walking around on two legs. What now, guys? Like, oh, that's a new giraffe. Look at they can fit anywhere. So it came in a big box, and I cut it open, and it was in cardboard and all this stuff. And I took it out, and Jack was just tearing it. He asked me first. When he was younger, he would tear up those like foam peanuts without even asking. Now he's like, Dad, can I? I'm like, yeah. So we cleaned it up. And then he looked, I was like, yeah, this is so, you can watch VHSs or whatever. And then he looked at it, and it's a 20-inch screen, and I get it. It's not huge, but the TV is big from the back. And he's like, it's so small, Dad. And I was like, this is the biggest one I can lift. You go up to like 27, it's like 100 pounds. So I heard from the internet. Anyway, that's just what's going on in my life for then. Yeah. School time, bed, summertime. It's summertime, but he still goes to a school, but they call it camp. And I want to know what the rules on summertime bedtimes, because I think the arrival, from what I've heard, is a little looser. So I don't wake him up. And I feel like if I don't have to wake him up and I don't have to wake up, then when are we ever going to go to bed, And obviously there's a time when he's tired. And I know we're at that time when I put him to bed finally and he just falls asleep so fast. Like they say if you fall asleep in under 15 minutes, they're sleep deprived, which I'm like also, but that's so fast. But like when's a good summertime bedtime? Do you listen, if you have children or even yourself, do you try to keep it the same as school? Are you a perfect person? I can't even do a school bedtime during school, and let alone during the summer. But here's what I should try to do. Try to keep it, and then where it lands will be a good summertime bedtime. It's like my own daylight summertime savings time. But I don't know, because he's going to have to adjust. But how long does it take a child to adjust to school? I feel like, a week, 2 months. Who knows? He Jack finished kindergarten, and like you learn a lot in kindergarten, right? Everything. Here's what I've heard: everything I needed to know, I learned in kindergarten. Unless reading proficiency is really important. I don't know. He knows some stuff, but whenever we're reading and he gets stuck on a thing, I'm like, that's because I didn't get him to bed early enough, and I just beat myself up. And it's I don't know. He does math really well, so maybe accountants don't need sleep, but um, I think it can be a challenge, but it's also great to not have to wake up early every day. There was a mom at Jack's My Gym class. I don't, it's not the mother of Coca Cola, and great name by the way, especially if you're the parents watching. I am jealous of it, which is why I brought it up multiple times in my podcast that reaches tens of people. So, this lady has twins. She has twin daughters, and she works, full time or whatever. And her kids go to a daycare, and then she homeschools them. And I was trying to talk to her about it. I was like feeling out, and then she was like, "I just don't like waking them up." And I'm like, I get that 1,000%. Like, I don't know. We went to bed when I was a kid because I think my older brother went to bed, and then we just all listened. But like now, I don't. I know some parents have really good, especially big families have to have bedtime. So my older brother, they have 3 kids, and in the summer they're up later, I think too. It's just like I think we like our kids too much. I feel like our parents loved us, but they weren't like into us. They were like, "This is better." But I feel like me and sometimes parents are like, "No, being a kid is fun, and I don't want to miss out on that." It feels like one time as a kid, I got to stay up and watch like a sporting event. But I feel like every other week is like that, or every other day is like, let's do something. Anyway, it's just figuring it out. We live in a very happy time for just being parents. Anyway, don't beat up on yourself. That's the main message. All right, so that was Seattle Scarecrow. Also, there was a really cool coffee shop. I say cool. That was pretty cool, but they didn't serve breakfast all day. Like they were open till 6, but their kitchen closed, and so I didn't get what I wanted. But it was still cool, and it was called like Lions Cafe, right by the Neptune Theater. Laughs Comedy Club was where I was. Really fun, and I also was in Spokane, and I had a great time in Spokane. Yes, you can. Um, Spokane Comedy Club, super fun. Shout out to everyone. Some people came from Idaho. I love Washington and Idaho now. Very happy. This weekend, Thursday, I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then Friday and Saturday, I'm in McKinney, Texas. That's where it is. At the Comedy Arena. I'm doing an arena. I don't think it's an actual arena, but maybe it looks like it. Maybe I'm in the middle. Maybe I'm in the middle of it. And then next week, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia at the Punchline. The Punchline is like such an old school club in Atlanta. And then I'm at the Comedy Zone in Jacksonville, which Jacksonville is one of my favorite cities to tour to. They have a beach there. I love waves, big waves. Um, and then the next week I'm in Kenosha at the Kenosha Comedy Club. I just say nice things about everywhere, so no one's gonna believe me. Um, but anyway, that's where I'm going. What did I have written down? Oh yeah, I have a correction. I don't think I shared this yet. I have a correct. There's a correct. All right, from our corrections department. If I did share this, we'll correct it next week if I catch it. But I said that when you fly through Denver, Southwest has a renovated area that's really nice. United also has a section that's been renovated, very spacious, very nice. So if you're flying into Denver and you're United or Southwest and you're going to the bathroom and it looks like super small, smells weird, like weird, walk a little bit. If you have the time, you'll find a huge spacious, it feels like first class. There's a place to like everything has a place. There's lots of room. Go, United or Southwest. So that's the correction has been added. Done. That's the scratching off of it. So we don't we don't keep coming back. We don't need to keep coming back. My notebook's not here anymore. What does this say? Why safe flight? I think it's weird that when you tell someone you're traveling somewhere, I've done this before, which is why this is commenting on my own actions, especially like maybe someone who you might be trying to like, not like, you know how you're like really comfortable around friends and you like your friends, but maybe you're not comfortable around someone who you like want to be your friend and you're not super good friends yet, or maybe someone you're interested in more than a friend. Then you say a thing to try to be extra nice, and then it comes off as you think about it like that was crazy. Like one time, this person was going on a trip, and I said, "Have a safe flight." I know people say stuff like that, but that's not. That's I think what was it? Yeah, have a safe, because it's like, yeah, have a safe. No, that wasn't the thing. I don't know. I think it's silly to tell someone to fly safe. Fly safe because you tell someone to drive safe. This is all unraveling. But if you really think that they might not fly safe, you should let the authorities know. Anyway, that's just stuff. I could save this water for after the podcast because it's almost done anyway, but that is not what I do. Um but yeah, when do kids go to bed? When do kids go to bed? I know I've heard I was talking to someone who I didn't know that well, and she was like, because I told her like I'm not on my phone when my kid's awake, and I returned a message kind of late, and I was like, yeah, he didn't fall asleep till this time or whatever, and they're like, oh, they like Googled it, and I was like, this says the bedtime is this time is really good. I'm like, yeah, that's the goal. These are the dreams we have. Usually we lay down at a decent time, but the sleep you can bring a horse to water, but we read books before bed, and I didn't finish this statement earlier. And there's a couple books we read where like the end of the book calls back something from the beginning of the book, and Jack's been taking that moment to be like, oh, we have to reread the book now. And I think of how cute that is, you know, and I start to like be like, oh, he's not gonna be this age forever. The cuts in the cradle and the silver spoon, you know, and then we read it again, and then today he was like, I wonder if you're ever gonna do it 3 times. So then we read this book. It's called How to Catch a Unicorn, and in the back of the book it says maybe next time, which isn't even a real call to read the book again. There's some books that have it in there. There's one where you press this button at the end, it's like starts over, or like the monster at the end of this book, the other monster at the end of this book. There's something about how like going back and seeing the monsters again. This is just like see you next time. And he was like, I wonder if anybody will ever read it 3 times. And then I did it, and he was like, wow, maybe 4 times. And I was like, ah. Because his rule is if you read the part that says to go back, then you got to go back and do it. It's his rule. I can break all these rules. There should be a day where I just do whatever I think is best all day. That should probably be every day as a parent. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. I love you.